Good morning, my dear girls. How do you do? I hope you are all fine. And today we are going to talk about a short story. How to write a short story. اليوم رح نحكي عن شو هي القصة القصيرة وكيف نكتبها، كيف شكلها. The title of our lesson is The Man Who Built the Brooklyn Bridge. And also this is a title of a short story that we are going to listen today. Now please get your students' books and open page 50. And first let's read about the story and its importance. Let's get to know why it is important and how it must be when we want to write a story. Every piece of writing must have a message, رسالة, or thread of meaning running through it. Deciding on the theme of your story before writing it is important. It is the skeleton or framework upon which the plot, characters, setting, etc. are built. As you write, make sure that every word is related to this theme. It's tempting to use your short story to show off your talents in characterization, descriptive writing, dialogue, etc. But every excess word will actually dilute the impact of your story. The best stories are the ones that stay focused. Decide what the point of your story is and then stick to it. في كتابة القصة المهم جدا الدال احنا ماشيين مع الفكرة المهمة مع الرسالة وكمان الموضوع اللي احنا اخترناها. إذا بدنا نزيد كلمات زيادة بس عشان نورجي إنه إحنا نقدر نكتب في طريقة حلوة، هذا ما راح يعمل القصة أحلى، بس يكون هي ثقيلة للواحد اللي بده يقراها. يعني خلينا نختار الموضوع اللي بدنا نكتب عنها وندعل نمشي فيها. هسا رح نقرأ الملاحظات القصيرة عن كيف نكتب القصة ورح ندور عليهم في القصة قصيرة موجودة في كتابنا. And now we are going to read some tips for writing a short story. So start with a situation, a problem to be resolved. Present the problems that can occur, like a mistaken identity or a lost opportunity. So there must be some kind of a problem to be solved. The second step is to show how you can solve the problem, like good conquers evil, honesty is the best policy, united we stand, east or west, home is best, friendship is a treasure, impossible to measure. After the storm comes a calm weather. All of these are sayings and show us the ideas. Yes, for example, east or west, home is best. يعني أي مكان بدنا نروح بيت دايما أحلى المكان إلنا. And number 3. Next, flesh out your theme with a plot, making sure it stays true to the theme. Plot, it is events of the story, the actions of the story. هذا الإشي اللي ناس بعملوا الكاركترز بعملوا في القصة, something that is going on, that is happening in our story. 4. Finally, you need to write out each section of the plot using descriptive writing and dialogues as necessary. The next task is read the short story below as a model for you to help you write your own short story. So we have here the short story which is called The Man Who Built Brooklyn Bridge. And we are going to listen to it and find some elements of the story. But first of all, I want to show you again how the events are developed in a story so that you could easily find these elements and this the structure in our short story about the man who built Brooklyn Bridge. Look at this picture. It is called a story mountain, and it shows how the story develops. بتورجينا هذا الصورة القصة زي جبل مع steps أنه كيف القصة يعني بتمشي من بداية للنهاية، من بداية لفوق وبعدين نازلة للنهاية. So we have like 5 parts. It's opening, the first part opening. Here we can introduce the characters or the story and the setting. The setting, it's time and place where the story happens. Time and place. It can change during the story. So احنا هون بنحكي عن الوقت، عن المكان وين القصة موجودة أو الناس الموجودين اللي بدنا نحكي عنهم، وكمان المكان ممكن يغير، وكمان وقت كمان ممكن تغير، بس في قصة قصيرة يعني بتكون دا الوقت زي ما هو. Then we built up some telling about some events, and finally on the top of the mountain we have the main problem, and this problem in its climax, it's like the top point. هذا النقطة يعني الأعلى شيء في قصة وين المشكلة صارت يعني كبيرة جدا وبدها حل ضروري. So then after the climax or the problem we have like falling. Number 4 is resolution, when we find some solutions for the problems or for the main problem which is present in the story. And finally there is an end with the conclusion. في نهاية ممكن يعني احنا ان زي أو happy end أو maybe it's not very happy, some kind of conclusions. شو استفدنا، شو علمنا، أو إيش بدنا نحكي بهذا القصة. إن في نهاية ending of the story. Now look at this picture, and here you can find the main elements of any story, any short story. So again, it's a setting, time, season, and place where something is going on. So it can be like long time ago or today or maybe in future, and any season of the year, and also any place. Place can be changed. Now, when we choose our characters, we may choose one, or there can be many characters, and what kind of characters they are. It's like realistic characters, or maybe make-believe characters, يعني إشي خيالي مش حقيقي. And some good guy, bad guy, I mean, might be like a good positive character or negative character. And then the problem, what kind of problems can be set in the stories. For example, person versus person, يعني إنه someone good and someone bad. Person versus self يعني الواحد بده يحل سؤال أو مشكلة اللي عنده من جواته. Like people or a person is searching for his real identity or for himself. Person versus society, يعني الشخص عنده مشكلة مع الناس في شكل عام. يعني he is or she is against the world، ممكن أحكي عالم. Or person versus nature, like maybe nature can cause troubles, can cause different problems like earthquake, for example. يعني متى احنا في مشكلة من التبية اللي جاية وبيخلينا نحل هدول أو ندور الحل to survive مثلا survival problems أو شيء زي هيك. Now I would like to read you the story and search for some unknown words in internet dictionaries and try to understand the main ideas. Search for the characters, give attention to setting and the problem and how it is solved and also what comes at the end. So let's start reading. The man who built Brooklyn Bridge. In 1883, a creative engineer named John Roblin was inspired by an idea to build a spectacular bridge connecting New York with Long Island. However, bridge building experts throughout the world thought that this was an impossible feat and told Roblin to forget the idea. It just could not be done. Roblin could not ignore the vision he had in his mind of this bridge. He thought about it all the time, and he knew deep in his heart that it could be done. After much discussion and persuasion, he managed to convince his son Washington, an upcoming engineer, that the bridge in fact could be built. Working together for the first time, the father and son developed concepts of how it could be accomplished and how the obstacles could be overcome. With a wild challenge before them, they hired their crew and began to build their dream bridge. The project started well, but when it was only a few months underway, a tragic accident on the site took the life of John Roblin. Shortly after, Washington suffered a certain amount of brain damage caused by the being so far underwater. After this, Washington was unable to walk and talk. "We told them so," their critics said. "Crazy man with crazy dreams." In spite of his handicap, Washington was never discouraged. He still had a burning desire to complete the bridge, and his mind was still as sharp as ever. As he lay on his bed in his hospital room, with sunlight streaming through the windows, a gentle breeze blew the flimsy white curtains apart, and he was able to see the sky for just a moment. It seemed that there was a message for him not to give up. Suddenly, an idea hit him. All he could do was move one finger, and he decided to make the best use of it. By moving this, he slowly developed a code of communication with his wife. He touched his wife's arm with that finger, indicating to her that he wanted to call the engineers again. Then he used the same method of tapping her arm to tell the engineers what to do. It seemed foolish, but the project was underway again. For 30 years, Washington tapped out his instructions with his finger on his wife's arm until the bridge was finally completed. Today, the spectacular Brooklyn Bridge stands in all its glory as a symbol of one man's challenging spirit and his determination not to be defeated by circumstances. It is also a tribute to the engineers and their teamwork, and to their faith in a man who was considered mad by half the world. It stands, too, as a tangible monument to the love and devotion of his wife, who for 30 long years patiently decoded the messages. This is an example of a never-say-die attitude that overcomes a terrible physical handicap and achieves an impossible goal. The Brooklyn Bridge shows us that dreams that seem impossible can be realized with determination and persistence, no matter what the odds are. Now look at this story plot mountain. Your task is to write 1 or 2 sentences that begin or introduce the, the main characters and the setting. Then write some sentences for rising action. rising action هذا الإشي الجملتين اللي بورجونا كيف بلشت يعني تكبر المشكلة أو شو صارت عن إيش رح يكون قصتنا. كلايمكس هون تكتبوا لنا جملة كمان أو جملتين شو الأكبر المشكلة، إيش عن الفكرة القصة الرئيسية، إيش المشكلة الرئيسية في قصة. fall in action هون إيش صارت بعد عرفنا عن مشكلة، إيش صارت في قصة. resolution هذا how the main problem was resolved or the conclusion، شو عرفنا يعني كيف شو استفدنا، ايش الفكرة وصلت او شو الفكرة بدنا نوصلها للواحد اللي بتقرأ القصة. What is the main conclusion for our readers, for the reader, for us. You may write these sentences here in this paper. I'm going to upload it separately, or you may just write one, an introduction to rising action and so on in your copybooks. This is your homework, to read and listen to the story and write about the events in this story, about the plot of the story, the skeleton. This is all for today, and have a nice day today, inshallah. Bye bye.